Let's make our crab pipe squeak. If this is your first time creating with us, we want to share a few tips to make this experience a great one. If you haven't yet, visit our techniques videos linked in the description below. For all you first-timers, we sent you some pipe cleaners in your kit specifically to practice with these videos and learn common techniques that will make your piece even better. Regardless of how many times you've done this, you have some extra pipe cleaners in your kit in case you make a mistake. That's completely normal and we've planned for it. The more time and attention you give to your piece, the better it will turn out. So take all the time you need, follow the steps, and above all, have fun learning and advancing in this new art form. Happy twisting! The only things you need are your kit, a pair of scissors, and a pencil. Well, and an adult to help you with those things if you're a kiddo. Set it all up and let's get twisting. Grab a full red pipe cleaner to start. We're going to place it on the template that came with your kit on the large body shape. You want to roughly get the size here. We will shape it after we connect. When it looks right, twist over and around each of the ends once to secure it. We will double check that size again before we fully lock in those connections. Now, lay it back on the template to get the shape. It is a little flat on the bottom, so shape that and round the sides according to the outline on the template. When you feel the shape is right, double check that size again. If it's too big or small, simply untwist those loose connections and adjust as you see here. The goal when sizing is to have the pipe cleaner just inside the shape of the outline, so you should barely see the outline around the pipe cleaner's edge. Once you find that size and shape, twist over those connections at the base fully to incorporate them into the frame as you see here. Mold and adjust after connecting and check once more on the template. Now we need to make another body frame just like this one. Let's repeat that body shape again. Grab a new full red pipe cleaner and you can run it through your fingers to start like you're curling a ribbon. This makes it easier to get a curved shape. You will be shaping to the first body frame you made to keep it symmetrical. Simply follow the shape around until it's matching. When you think it looks right, pinch down where the ends overlap and you will secure. Then, pick up the second frame and twist those connections around the frame to lock it in. This will allow us to mold the shape with the size locked in. Check with your first piece again and now you have two body frames to work with. Now we need to add braces to strengthen our frames. Grab a full red pipe cleaner and lay it straight down the middle of one of the body frames. Leave a small amount at the top hanging over as you see here. Connect by bending down and over the frame with that small piece that is hanging out. Secure it around so it's locked in to the top. Work that pipe cleaner down the very center of your piece and loop over and around the base of the frame to secure the brace as shown. Don't pull too tightly to change your shape. Gently connect. Now, grab those scissors and an adult to help you if you're a kiddo and trim that extra and secure around. Grab what you just cut and use it to make a horizontal brace across the center of your frame. Bend over that small overlapped amount to start and lock it in. As you go across the middle, wrap over and around the vertical brace you just made. Pinch lightly at the overlap of the two braces as you loop around to keep your shape. Connect to the opposite side by pinching at the overlap lightly, then going over, under, and around to lock in that horizontal brace fully. Carefully or with help, trim the extra and secure. Repeat these same braces on the other body frame. You should be able to use what you just cut to make the first vertical brace. After adding the first brace, check your shape with the finished one to be sure they're still the same. You can tie this extra end by wrapping over the frame or carefully or with help trimming and securing the end. It's up to you. Grab a full new pipe cleaner to make the horizontal brace like we did before. Double check those sizes and you have 2 braced bodies ready to go. Now let's fill these in with red. Grab a full red pipe cleaner and we're going to start by hooking the end as shown. Connect over the frame to the left of the vertical brace at the top by wrapping the hooked part over. Work that piece across and go over and behind that vertical brace on the right side of it, flipping your piece over to the back. You will be filling by wrapping. Be sure that connection is pinched down and bring the pipe cleaner across the back to the side you locked onto to start. Then, simply wrap the piece over the frame gently, still going a little down to follow the line you made. Then bring it back over once more, going up and over, then we will start going across the piece. As you wrap to fill this, the scoop shape will go away and it will end up being straight. To wrap, fold the pipe cleaner over the edge of the frame, lightly bending, turning the piece, then pinching inside the frame when it's where you want it. Don't pull too tightly and maintain the shape of the body as you go. When you run out of pipe cleaner, grab a full new one and overlap the ends by about the width of your fingernail. Then twist together lightly to connect, making the connection as close to looking like one pipe cleaner as possible. Then continue your wrap. Do this each time you come to the end of a pipe cleaner. As you fill, be sure your layers are close to each other and it looks smooth. Remember to watch your pressure and keep your shape. If you run out of pipe cleaner and your extension will wrap around the edge of the frame, carefully or with help, trim off the end to extend before that happens. Wrapping a connection around the edge of the frame can cause you to lose your shape. Then you can continue wrapping once you have it fixed. Once you have it completely filled, loop over, under, and around the edge to lock in the whole fill as you see here. Bring it over to the opposite side and lock in the same way once to complete the fill. Once it's locked in, carefully or with help, trim and secure the end. Now grab a full new pipe cleaner and your other braced body shape and let's fill this in the same way. Remember to begin by hooking the end, securing on, and going up and over the other side to start that wrap, just like before. Be sure you're checking your shape as you go. You can even check it with the first filled body from time to time to ensure you aren't losing your shape. If you do, simply unwrap, fix it, and go again. Lock in that fill on the bottom on each side to keep it all in place. Flatten your shape and now you have 2 fully filled crab bodies. For the next step, we need the pipe cleaners to be in thirds. If you have a ruler, that's 4-inch segments. If not, simply fold the pipe cleaner into thirds and cut at each bend, carefully or with help. You need another pipe cleaner cut in this way. You can use the one you've already cut to measure if you want, but cut another full pipe cleaner into thirds, carefully or with help. Now we have pieces cut for our legs. Let's make some legs. Fold one of your cut thirds in half to start. Push it together tightly and you have a leg. Well, almost. Lay it on the template that came with your kit and get the right size. When you find it, simply bend down the ends as you know where it will connect. Repeat this process 5 more times with the other cut thirds. With your 6 legs made, set them aside and let's keep going. To make his claws, carefully or with help, cut a full red pipe cleaner in half. To start, bend one of those halves into a V and then shape that V to the V you see on the template that came with your kit that's inside the claw. Bend and shape your pipe cleaner around the rest of the claw. Once you have the pinchers bent down to the right size, round the edges to make the rest of the claw. Check your shape and size on the template. Remember, this will be a lot smaller than you think. When you have the right size and shape, wrap one of the extra pieces around and up, taking it over the bottom of the V for the pincher to lock it in. You can wrap the extra onto the brace you just created to hide it. Check your size again on the template. Wrap the other extra over one time to move it off center as a connection piece. You will see the arm of the claw isn't centered on the pincher. Move it to match this. Repeat this process to make the second claw using the other half you cut. Shape the second claw to the first to make it the same size as the first one you made. Once you have it the same, connect by wrapping in and through and then over that middle of the V for the pincher like you did the first time, hiding the rest on the brace you create. Be sure to move that connection over at the bottom again by looping around as before. To fill in the claws, grab a full new red pipe cleaner and tie on to the top edge of one side. Now, weave back and forth to fill. Go over the frame, under, and back across. Do this until you get to the bottom of that V where your brace is. Be sure not to pull too tightly and keep the shape. When you get to that brace, trim, carefully or with help, and hide and secure the extra. Continue to fill by using what you just cut and tying onto the other side of the claw, then weave to fill again. Keep weaving all the way down, going all the way across the claw to the opposite side and back. Once you have it filled, line it up with that connection by looping over if needed and twisting it onto that extra. Don't trim this right now. Simply set it aside and grab a full new red pipe cleaner and your other claw and fill it in the same way. Connect into that extra off the bottom by wrapping when you have it filled, and now you have 2 filled crab claws. To make his tummy, grab your cream-colored pipe cleaner and shape it to the tummy on the template. Once you have the size and rough shape, connect by twisting over the end to lock it in. Check again on the template to be sure you have the right size and shape to make it correct. Once you have it right, let's make a brace by using the long extra to go up the center and connect onto the top as shown by looping over and around. Carefully or with help, trim and secure. Use that trim piece to make a horizontal brace across the center as well. Tie onto one side, loop over and around the vertical brace as you pass it in the center, and then secure onto the opposite side of the tummy frame. Carefully or with help, trim and secure this extra. Check once more on the template to be sure we didn't lose our shape. Let's fill this in by wrapping, like we did with the crab bodies. Make a hook on the end of the cream pipe cleaner to begin. Bend over that hook on top to start, then fold over the opposite side of the vertical brace and begin to wrap over the edge, turning the piece as you go. Follow that line above and continue all the way down the tummy. When you have it filled, weave in on each side of the frame to lock it all together. Once finished, carefully or with help, trim, leaving about an inch connected and sticking up so we can put it on later. Make another connection by using what you trimmed, pushing through the fill on the other bottom corner and twisting around the ends to lock it on. Carefully or with help, trim off that longer extra and secure, still leaving a small connection as you see. Use that trimmed piece and push it through the top center to make one more connection, twisting to secure as before. Now you have connections on the back of your tummy and we're ready to move on. To make his eye, grab a full black pipe cleaner and carefully, or with help, cut it in half. Then, cut that half in half again. Start by bending the end into a small hook. Then, tightly spiral around the starter hook to make a circle. Check your size on the template. When you have the right size, push the tail down and behind the circle, working it to the center to make a nail shape. Be sure to smash and squeeze to keep the circle flat and tight. Repeat this eye process with the other 1/4 of a pipe cleaner you have. Check the size of this eye to the first to be sure they are symmetrical. Bend back and flatten the extra when it's right like before. Set your eyes aside for now and grab the other half piece of your black pipe cleaner. Bend this in half and carefully, or with help, cut it in half. Now let's make his mouth. Make a small bend in the pipe cleaner and size it to the template on the mouth shape. Find the size and shape and bend at the edge on both sides, checking on the template as you go. Shape the smile to what looks good to you. Now let's choose a front piece to place all our features on. Start by lining the tummy up to the base of the crab and be sure it's centered. Push those connections through the fill at all 3 points, working it down until it's snug against the fill. Once you have it in place, fold those connections over in the back and twist as shown to lock it in. Let's connect his eyes next. Check for placement on the template and push the connections through the fill where you think they go. Add the second eye and check. Check that spacing and be sure you like it. Then grab the mouth and line it up just under the center of both eyes. Push both connections through and check to see if it works for you. If you need to adjust the size of your smile, simply pull it back out, shape, and insert again. Do this until it looks right to you. Once you like the placement, carefully, or with help, trim those connections a bit, then bend and fold them down to secure it all in. He needs some sparkles in his eyes. Grab that white pipe cleaner and measure about the length of your finger. Carefully, or with help, trim this length off. Carefully, or with help, cut that little piece in half. With one of those small pieces, bend a little knob or hook on the end. Do it again with the other small white piece. Push these through the eyes in the upper right corner of each. Push it all the way through to the back of the body. Shape and move them to make them look right for you. When you like them, carefully or with help, trim some of the extra, then bend and secure the pieces on the back. Let's add his claws. You will need to grab the other filled body without the features to start. Place that back body on the template and line up your claws to match. Be sure there's a little of his arm sticking out on the side. Grab the other claw and place it on top to check for spacing. Line up one and check it now with the front on to get exact placement. When you have it where you want it, pinch to hold it in place and remove the front. Connect by finding a fill piece to push under the extra, pulling up as needed. Pull the fill line directly below out as well and loop over and around that one too. Twist it a couple of times into the arm to lock it in, bringing the extra back inside. Check once more with the front, then repeat on the other claw. You will be pushing it under the same fill lines as you did the first one. Twist to connect again as before. Check with the front again and adjust if needed. Let's add his legs. Lay out that back with the claws connected to it and line up your leg pieces as shown. Check with the front to determine if the placement is right. Lift up fill lines again to place the connections under. Push both the tails through and be sure your bent piece is outside the body frame so you can see it. Fold back those tails to lock in. Pull out the fill line about 2 lines down and connect in the same way for the second leg. Lock in when it's in place and repeat 2 fill lines down for the last leg. Check by laying the front back on to see if it looks right for you. Repeat by connecting each leg under the same fill piece you already pulled out from the first side for the other side. Check again by laying the front on. Shape and adjust as you wish to make it look right for your crab. Let's put his halves together. Lift up the bottom of the tummy gently to start. Grab your pencil and an adult to help you poke a starter hole on the side of your tummy. Push a full red pipe cleaner through that hole until it comes through both pieces. Secure this by twisting together a small amount as shown to start. Get help to poke another starter hole under his tummy. Sew through that hole and pull it tight. Get help making another hole on the other side of his tummy and sew through again. Now push that tummy back down in place. Carefully get help to poke holes between the legs to sew. Be sure to not let them move as you go. Then sew through those starter holes up the piece. Continue around the crab, sewing in this way. When you run out, hide the end of that piece. Then start with a new one where you left off. Be sure to secure it in like we did at the start before you start sewing again. When you reach the bottom, carefully or with help, trim and secure the last piece and you're finished. Great job! We hope you had fun. Be sure to give your PipeSkweek a name. Use it as a charm for a backpack, purse, keys, or even a magnet. Show off your piece by tagging us on Instagram at Ascend Art Co. And be sure to subscribe to this channel for more tutorials and fun PipeSkweek creations. Until next time, Happy twisting!